Somebody asked me the other day who I thought was a better bass player, JACO Pastorius or NIKKI SIXX. And it got me thinking because, when you're talking about bass players, it's different than guitar players or drummers. Because a bass player, I think NIKKI said it best in an interview with Hit Parader. I believe it was in 1993. At this point, they had already let go of Vince. They had fired him. They were working with legendary The Scream vocalist John Corabi. They were in the studio with Bob Rock. They were really at the top of their game at the time. Maybe only comparable to the Dr. Feelgood days when they got a #1. But the self-titled, I think we can all agree, was the greatest Motley Crue album of 1994. So they were really working hard on this masterpiece. But they asked NIKKI, they said, what was it like to play the bass? Like, why did he pick the bass? Because, NIKKI was the band leader. The sole lyricist, wrote most of the music. And some of the music that he wrote was very complex, And so he said that playing, this is deep. And if you've got the Hit Parader, it's a good one. But he said that playing the bass was like playing guitars and drums at the same time. Think about that. I mean, that's really like introspective, insightful. And I think as a bass player, I think NIKKI sort of helped redefine an era. A lot of people go to Motley shows to hear the bass. And a lot of people, what they'll do now with all the gadgetry available is they will actually remove the drums, the guitars, and the vocals just to hear those iconic Motley Crue bass lines. So when they asked me this question at the pool hall, I was at it was like a church event, basically for I think it was for senior citizens on fixed incomes or something. I don't remember what it was for. Raised like a few $100s, just like a nice thing. And there was like an 80s cover band that came in, and with the silly wigs and the boas and stuff, and they were just playing like Winger, Autograph, like cheesy 80s music, nothing good like LA Guns or Motley or, what I mean? Nothing of substance, just trash basically. And actually, this person owns the hall. He gave it to us for next to nothing. He knew that we were trying to raise some money for these old farts. And basically he comes over, and the tribute band or whatever they were playing, what were they playing? I think Turn Up the Radio, I think they were playing or something like that. It's just like one of those junky songs from the 80s, And he just said to me, he said, I know that you're really big into music, and you brought this tribute band over here, and the nephew of the drummer is actually the owner's cousin. So there was that link, and he was really happy that I brought in a band that in some way was related to his family, and it was just, he was like, what a small world, you brought this band, and I've got a kinship with the drummer. So we had us a couple of Miller High Lifes. This guy is a big, there's Miller High Life stuff everywhere. I didn't even realize that they had Miller High Life on tap, but at his bar they do. He's just a real American beer, and he was real proud of the fact that his bar looked really like a Miller High Life like fan emporium, he got to talking to me, and he said, in the 80s, he had gone and seen Motley a gajillion times, and he was even at that Farm Aid show, and he said that, in fact, if we put together something else like that again, he would bring me from his collection. He had the second press, I think it was 3 or 4 pressings, but he had the second press of the Leather Records Motley Crue. I think he said it was Toast of the Town was the B-side. Anyways, that's as rare as it gets because I think they only pressed like 500 of those. And he said he had it like in an airtight thing and this whole like whatever. And then, he said, well, do I play anything? I said, well, I fiddled around with the bass a little bit, in college, and I always liked the bass guitar. That was like, of all the instruments, that was my favorite. And he said that in the 80s, the guy's a little bit older, but he said in the 80s he was in a band, and that he did have. He had like one of those trapper keepers. And he just showed me some pictures. And this guy is like balding pretty badly. He might see this, but I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about you, Steve. I mean, the guy's just, he's balding, but he's in good shape. He's in good shape, and he's got this pool hall, and usually, I mean, he even said he took a major hit having this church event because usually, he'll bring in some strippers and some beers and stuff, and just have like an after parties, sort of like swingers vibe, and he'd make a lot of money with that. But he felt bad for these old geezers, and he took a liking to us, so he just let us have it for next to nothing. And we were, like I said, we were able to raise a few $100s for these geriatrics, and that goes a long way for them because their families don't go and see them. These are not like well-off old people, so the families don't want to go see them, and when they drop dead, they're probably gonna like leave, I don't know, a couple $1,000s in a savings account, like basically just people that really didn't really work hard in their lives, and so their family have turned their backs on them. So we did this, raised a few $100s for them, maybe with the money, we'll give a portion of it to them, that sort of thing. But in any event, he asked me because I think some of it was also used in their name to bet on some horse races. Because again, if the money, if the horses won, I think they were like a 30-1 though. But on the off chance that they won, a portion of the winnings would be going to them. I didn't do that though. That was my colleague that did it. But basically, I got the bands. I got some of the drinks, and stuff. Like we had the High Life on tap because Steve's a big High Life guy, and so everybody was drinking dollar beers and watching this band play shitty 80s music. I think they might have also played. I don't know what they were playing. Some really bad stuff. Autograph, like I said, Winger. Oh man, just really bad stuff. I think they played one Rat song. I was like, oh my God, you guys can actually rock. You can actually rock. And you could tell the drummer was really getting into it. I'm like, my God, man, you probably think you're Bobby Blotzer. I mean, Bobby Blotzer's larger than life. I mean, a guy cannot go to Dollar Tree without getting mobbed by beautiful 50 and 60-year-old women. The point, though, is this guy asked me, who I thought was a better bass player because he had actually met JACO Pastorius, and he also met NIKKI many times when they were coming up and when they were already big. And I said, it's just a really complicated question. I said, by chance, did you ever get that hit parader? And he hadn't. And I explained to him, I said, in that hit parader, there's a quote by NIKKI SIXX where he says playing the bass is like playing the guitar and the drums.